tomorrow night. Also, in 1987, we became the first corporation to demand outside counsel use lawyers of color and women on its legal matters, something that we have continued to do over the last 20 years since Harry Pierce sent out his famous letter. In 2000, we became the first corporation to file a amicus brief in the University of Michigan affirmative action case supporting the position of the University of Michigan in those affirmative action cases. And the interesting part of all this is that the education is really a key element to this. As a matter of fact, it even goes back before 1968 to 1949 when GM became the first corporation to support financially the United Negro College Fund. So we have a very long history, and more recently in the legal profession, that work has moved along to what we call pipeline initiatives. And those are initiatives to ensure that we are making sure that the pipeline leading into the legal profession is properly primed with the right kind of candidates so that we can graduate more lawyers of color. One of our key programs in that area is a program called Street Law, and that's an initiative that we have with the Detroit Public Schools and the Pontiac Public Schools to interest children in these school districts to pursue legal careers. And I'm proud that a number of my colleagues on the legal staff who are the leaders of this program are here today at lunch. Kim Knight, who heads the program, Lionel Anderson, Myron Lloyd, and Paul Zavala, who are lawyers who are also leaders of the program. I'd like to recognize them as well for their efforts in the school district. I saw we are also a supporter of CLEO. They're another part of the pipeline. I saw Cassandra Ogden here today from CLEO. Thank you for being here. And CLEO is another important part of the pipeline. But you know what another very important part of the pipeline is? It's all of you. Everybody that's sitting here today that's a member of NBLSA is part of that important pipeline. And that's why General Motors is a supporter of NBLSA and will continue to be, and why we are proud to be your platinum sponsor. I guess I'm going to say a lot more to you tomorrow night. The one thing I'd like to say today is that I really hope as you go through and graduate from law school that you'll be one of the lawyers that someday works on the GM matter. We have thousands of them around the country because we are sued often. So there's plenty of opportunity out there, if not on the legal staff itself, then as one of our outside counsel. Again, thank you very much for giving me time to make a few remarks today, and I look forward to continuing to interact with you at your convention, and I wish you the best as your convention proceeds. Thank you.
Good afternoon. How are you all today? Thank you so much for having me. I had the pleasure of speaking at the convention in Cincinnati a couple of months ago. It's just always great to see so many talented lawyers with diverse backgrounds. I will be before you briefly, and I just want to leave you with a couple of takeaways regarding building the pipeline. To echo what Chris said, you are definitely our future. And it's important that we build on the legacy of where we started 40 years ago to where we are going today. I focused in looking at all these students here, enjoying their days of law school, my days as a student. I went to North Carolina Central University. It was a historically black college. Oh, that's Eagle Pride in the back. And then I went to Indiana University School of Law in Bloomington a couple of years ago. Oh, come on, we can do better than that at that table. Thank you. And what was interesting to me, and I think you can get something out of this, is that when I was a student in school, I just had the flexibility to interact with whomever I wanted to, whoever I wanted to socialize with, I could, whoever I wanted to, I could network. Everything was a level playing field. You go to class, you read your books, you had your assignments, you took your test, and you would get your grade, whatever that would be. And then when I made the transition from being a student into the practice of law, I found for the first time, for the most part, I was a minority. And making that adjustment to me was very interesting and very challenging. And for many of you who leave the law school environment and you get into the practice of law, you may find that you may be one of the few at your firm. You may be the only one at the firm. But I want you to know this, is that no matter what your challenges are, I'm not saying you will have any, you have to believe in the power of you. You have to know that if you are able to get into law school and you're able to get out of law school, no one can take anything away from you as far as who you are. The research has shown from ABA studies and other studies that when it comes to lawyers of color, the attrition rate is high. The studies have shown that, the reasons people cite it to is that they couldn't find mentors when they got into the profession. They didn't like the assignments that they received. They didn't feel that they were substantive enough. And some of it was just plain discrimination. If you're in a situation when you start working and someone believes that you're the secretary and not a lawyer and asks you to get a cup of coffee, shake it off. Will you say shake it off? Shake it off. The Judge Hatchett said it will happen. You have to shake it off, you have to move forward, and you have to persevere. I like to think of the profession and just being out in the marketplace as a soccer game. You know that there are people in this life who are here to help you, right? Right. And there are also people here who are designed to stop you. There are people who assume the role of the goalie. You will not get one ball in the net. You want a pay raise? No way. You want a promotion? Forget about it. But you have to keep kicking and kicking and kicking until you get one ball in the net. Do you believe that? One ball in the net, that's all you need. Keep kicking. So all that said, as I close, you have to be a player. To build a pipeline, start to be a player while you're a student. If you're first year, there is no reason why you should not be participating in the moot court competition, and why, if you don't have the grades, you should not be trying to write on the law review. We should take advantage of every opportunity to make sure that we can compete in today's marketplace. And we've also heard about Proposition 301-6. Have you heard about that one? We're talking about the bar passage rate. We need to change the game as slaves. If you're not a strong test taker, start studying for the bar in your first year. Other people do it and they pass, we should do it as well. In closing, know who you are. Build on our legacy and our past as you move forward. And then, as we move forward, make sure to give to your community. Once you become a lawyer, don't be one of these individuals who feel, I made it, you figure out how to make it. That's right, they do it. I have my bootstrap strap, give $10, you figure out a way to buy your own. We have to mentor one another, we have to help law students coming in after us. Once you become a lawyer practicing, you have to help young lawyers coming in after you. When you get to where you are, get on the recruiting team, get on the diversity team, have a voice and be heard. And also, give me your time and talents. Make sure that you join organizations that can effectuate change. I have a little plug for my organization, Corporate Counsel Women of Color, which was founded 3 years ago. We now have over 2,000 members of women of color who work in-house in the United States and abroad. And for those of you in the New York area, one thing we're doing is the My Life as a Lawyer program. We have set aside $50,000 in scholarship money. You can go to our website. We've only had like 2 people apply thus far. I want to make sure we have that money to give away. Make sure you apply. And we will also be sharing the student strategies on taking the bar, passing the bar, and making it in the marketplace. Again, thank you. I look forward to talking to you all after the presentation.